Today I'm going to cover a topic that I never thought that I would ever cover, and that is Magic the Gathering. Now, although I have not owned any of their cards in years and pretty much fell completely out of the community, I do still check in from time to time, and it seems that things are just not great with the community at the moment, with many feeling that there has just been a massive decline in terms of what they have been getting. The first big problem that people have is the fact that they are pushing out way too many new cards every month. They are at a point now where new cards just keep getting printed, and with that, the quality of what you are getting has also massively dropped. It is sad, but it's also just a reality. Creativity has limits, and when you are pushing out cards at the volume that they are obviously going to start to be a decrease when it comes to the quality that they are offering you. Now, both Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, who are behind Magic of the Gathering, has been accused of getting way too greedy, and that has resulted in many within the community turning against them. Over-exaggeration is a real problem within Magic the Gathering, at least at the moment, and when your entire model is built around not just playing the game but also collecting, then I am sure you can understand why that will be a massive problem for many people. Now, another thing that people are not very happy with is the actual gathering. Magic used to have these massive events where thousands of players would get together to share their love for the game, and during COVID that obviously went away. Now, with things opening up back again, there seems to be no interest from Magic to bring these events back again that used to be such a massive part of the entire community. Now, with that, this whole thing did actually take an even worse turn for Hasbro, the company behind Magic, as Bank of America actually decided to downgrade their stock for, quote, ruining Magic the Gathering. Now, Business Insider says here that Hasbro stock received a double downgrade from Bank of America on Monday due to its management of the popular Magic the Gathering game. The bank said that Hasbro is overpricing Magic cards, which is destroying the long-term value, and they also say here that card prices are falling, game stores are losing money, collectors are liquidating, and large retailers are cutting orders. Now, in the article itself, they say that Hasbro stock has a more than 53% downside as it mismanages one of its top franchises, Magic the Gathering game. That is according to Bank of America, which issued a double downgrade on the stock to underperform and has lowered the price tag to $42 from $73. Now, the downgrade is driven by Hasbro's overpricing of Magic cards, which is destroying the long-term value and also killing its golden goose. In an actual statement, they say, "We have spoken to several players, collectors, distributors, and local game stores and have become aware of the growing frustration. The primary concern is that Hasbro has been overproducing Magic cards, which has propped up Hasbro's recent earning results but is destroying the long-term value of the brand," and that is according to Bank of America's analyst Jason Haas. Now, it is a big problem for the company, and although I don't think that Magic is going to go anywhere, it is probably within their best interest to listen to the community and make some changes to ensure that the game is going to move forward in a much more positive direction. Now, the problem with these companies has always come down to one thing: it is not just enough for them to make a lot of money, they need to make all of the money. Magic has pretty much released a card game every single week, and the quality of the actual card has also downgraded heavily. But then the way that Hasbro is selling cards has also been a very big point of concern. They are printing these cards so fast that they cannot get rid of them or sell them fast enough. This means that there are warehouses just full of cards everywhere. And then on top of that, when it comes to smaller shops, they cannot keep up with the supply either, and that is just resulting in even more cards not being sold. Now, speaking of shops, Hasbro has been selling cards directly on Amazon Amazon, completely cutting out these smaller shops that has been selling these cards for years. And they are not just selling these cards on Amazon, they are actually pushing smaller stores completely out of competition. They are selling these cards at a massive discount online, and that makes it just so much more difficult for shops to compete, and oftentimes you will find situations where shops need to buy cards from the supplier at a higher price than it costs you to go to Amazon and just buy the cards online. And once again, this means that it's completely impossible for a shop to compete with Amazon, meaning that these smaller businesses will just completely run out of business eventually. I think if Hasbro wants to sell cards online, they are completely within their right to do it, but I also think that they at least need to be somewhat consistent with their pricing to at least give some of these shops a fair shot to compete. They also have a secret layer program which is reprinting a bunch of cards, and then these cards also get sold at a much lower price. Now this is upsetting the collectors who have spent a lot of money on the cards, as reprints will obviously result in a massive devaluation when it comes to collections. Now, to go back to the stores and how all of this has affected them, the secret layer program are not sold in stores anywhere, so that once again means that this is just another way to cut these smaller businesses out of some of the ways that they can actually sell cards and make more money. Furthermore, a massive portion of the Magic community has been built on the backs of these stores. They are the ones who have been selling these cards for years. They are the ones who are taking on all of the risks, and when these cards are not selling, all of the cost falls on these stores. These Magic the Gathering shops are also the ones that are creating these fun environments for the community, and they are also in a large part responsible for the culture around the game. You are not going to find any of the culture on Amazon, and yet these stores that have supported the game for years are now just completely being pushed out due to all of these intentional overpricings. And again, if you want to sell online, you are free to do so, but at least just try and be somewhat consistent with your pricing. Now, speaking of pricing, their 30th anniversary set of cards this year included 4 booster packs that sold for $1,000, which is just a completely insane amount of money to ask for something. It shows that you have absolutely no respect for your fan base. Now, one analyst, the same one who made the evaluation that resulted in Hasbro's stock dipping, wrote, "We are also concerned about Hasbro's decision to release a Magic 30th anniversary set including 4 booster packs for $999 versus a typical set that is $5. Now, not only is the price excessively high, but the set also includes reverse list cards which Hasbro has promised will never be reprinted. This has created a panic amongst the collectors, and we are now seeing collections being liquidated, and also the scarcity value of Magic is now in question." And again, that is just another example of Magic no longer respecting the community. For them, it is just all about making the profit, and as long as they can do that, the sad reality is that things are not really going to change. There are always going to be people that is willing to pay these prices. There are always going to be people that buy every single set of cards that come out every single week or every single month, and with that, sadly, these companies are just never going to learn their lesson.